Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt like something shifted? Maybe people stopped talking. Maybe the energy changed. Maybe everyone suddenly became aware that you were there, and almost instantly you started wondering, what should you do? Should I smile more? Should I make myself seem friendlier? Should I joke or should I speak first? Notice how quickly our minds make the discomfort our responsibility. I used to think that if a room became awkward after I walked into it, then it was my job to fix it. I would start smiling more, talking more, explaining more. I was trying to prove that I wasn't intimidating, or trying to prove that I wasn't stuck up, or even trying to prove that I deserved to be here. Until I realized something. Why was I always volunteering to carry the emotional labor that nobody assigned to me? Why was I becoming uncomfortable because someone else was? One of the biggest lessons I've learned is this. Presence isn't loud. It isn't attention seeking. It simply exists, and people respond to it differently. Some people relax around confidence. Some people admire it, and some may be inspired by it. Some compare themselves to it, and some become nervous around it. Some people don't even know what to do with it. None of these reactions belong to you though. They're information, not instruction. This changed the way I moved through life because I stopped assuming every awkward silence meant that I was doing something wrong. Silence isn't always about rejection. Sometimes it's people simply observing, or thinking, or processing, or they're surprised, or even maybe insecure. Maybe sometimes they're also curious. Sometimes they're just quiet. Yet, we immediately begin editing ourselves. Women do this all the time. We'll change the way we laugh, stop wearing that outfit, lower our voice, stop speaking passionately, becoming overly agreeable. We'll over-smile, over-explain, or almost apologize for simply doing something that we're meant to do. Exist. Listen, ladies, that is a dangerous habit because every time you shrink yourself to make sure everyone else is comfortable, you teach yourself that your authenticity is negotiable. Here's something I had to learn. You cannot control the atmosphere of every room. My mom used to always say be the thermostat in a room and not the temperature, because you can only control your relationship with yourself inside of it. Imagine carrying a candle. If someone else is uncomfortable with the brightness, would you blow out your own candle? Probably not. Yet emotionally, that's exactly what many of us are doing. The highest version of yourself doesn't walk into rooms asking, how can I make everyone like me? She asks, can I remain myself regardless of the room? That question changes everything because confidence isn't measured by how comfortable everyone else feels around you. Confidence is measured by how little you abandon yourself when they don't. You don't need to earn your place. You don't need to convince people that you're nice enough, pretty enough, smart enough, humble enough, funny enough, approachable enough. If you're constantly trying to manage everyone's opinion of you, you'll spend your entire life performing, and performers eventually become exhausted. I think one of the most feminine things a woman can do is allow herself to simply arrive. No announcements, no performance, no apology, no shrinking, just arrival. There's something magnetic about a woman who doesn't rush to explain themselves, who don't rush to fill the silence, who don't rush to rescue every awkward moment. They understand something. Every silence doesn't need saving. Sometimes the room is quiet because you're new. Sometimes because you're different or because people are watching. Sometimes your energy interrupts a pattern. Whatever the reason is, don't interrupt yourself trying to interrupt the silence. You don't owe anyone a smaller version of yourself. Here's something I tell myself now. If someone else feels uncomfortable, they're allowed to. If someone else misunderstands me, they are allowed to. If someone needs time to warm up, they're allowed to. If someone doesn't know what to make of me, they are allowed to. And while they're fighting out how to feel, I'm not abandoning myself on how I feel. That's maturity. Because shrinking never creates genuine connections. It only creates temporary comfort. Eventually, people don't even know the real you. They know the edited version of you. The version that constantly scanned the room before deciding who she was allowed to be. Ladies, I don't want to live like that anymore. And I don't want that for you either. Walk into that room, sit down, smile if you genuinely feel like smiling, speak if you have something to say, listen when you want to listen. Allow people the space to experience you without constantly managing their experience. Because your presence isn't a problem to solve, it's a gift to protect. And the moment you stop making yourself smaller is usually the moment you finally begin taking up space that always belonged to you. Remember this, you were never meant to become uncomfortable just because someone else was. Let people adjust, observe, and let them handle their own emotional process. Your only responsibility is to remain at home within yourself. Remember, darlings, in order to live a high quality lifestyle, you have to embody high quality essence. Smooches!